Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Griffinborn. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to be looking at the Frost specialization for the Death Knight. Let us get right into the guide, everyone. Sit back and enjoy, and let's look at the Frost Death Knight. All Death Knights have 6 runes. Spending 1 rune will cause a rune to go on recharge. The base recharge is 10 seconds, but that's also affected by your haste. Now, spending 1 rune will also generate 10 runic power, up to a maximum of 100 runic power. Spending 1 runic power as a Frost Death Knight will activate your passive known as Runic Empowerment. For 1 runic power spent, you have a 1% chance to instantly gain a rune. The first ability that we're going to be looking at is known as Obliterate. It costs 2 runes, deals massive frost damage, and has a 45% chance to proc Rime. Rime will increase Howling Blast damage by 300%, and it will make Howling Blast cost no runes. So what's Howling Blast, you ask? Well, Howling Blast is a AoE ranged ability that you can cast that costs 1 rune. It deals very minor frost damage, but inflicts the targets hit by this AoE with Frost Fever. Frost Fever deals massive frost damage over 24 seconds. Every single time it deals damage though, it has a chance of generating 5 runic power. Remorseless Winter is the last ability that you can spend your runes on. It is a AoE frost damage ability that deals quite a lot of frost damage over 8 seconds. Also, any enemies around you when you cast it or that enter your orb of frost damage are slowed by 50%. Alrighty guys, now I'm going to look at the last couple abilities that are rather important for the Death Knight, or the Frost Death Knight that is. That is Frost Strike. Frost Strike deals massive frost damage, costs 25 runic power. That's gonna be what you use your runic power on. There's also Death Strike, which heals you, but you don't want to put that unless you really need health, and you shouldn't be wasting it on there. So pretty much when you're around 80 to 85 runic power, you want to start casting Frost Strike in order to get rid of the runic power and then, reset. Also, there's 2 more abilities. First one is Pillars of Frost, increases your strength by 20%, makes you immune to external movement effects such as like knockback or so. Then there is Empower Runeblade, which generates 25 runic power and refreshes all of your runes. And then also there is one last passive that I need to look at, or need to tell you guys about, which is vital to the rotation and just the way Frost plays. That is Killing Machine. Killing Machine makes your critical auto attacks have a chance to make your Obliterate or Frost Scythe, but that's a talent, a automatic crit. So it's really important for the rotation itself. For your stat priority, you want Critical Strike, followed closely by Haste, then Mastery, then Versatility. Your Critical Strike is going to give you more Obliterates and more Frost Scythes. Your Haste is going to increase the amount of times that you can do these abilities because your runes are going to be up more often. Your Mastery is just going to increase your Frost damage, and your Versatility is just going to give you a base damage boost and reduction. So for the first talent, I use Shattering Strikes. It just has a stronger DPS increase on single targets than any of the other talents in this tier. Icy Talent, overall, is not as strong as the other 2. Murderous Efficiency, if you're running out of a bunch of resources, then this is the talent to pick if you're not very good at resource management. 57, Freezing Fog is great for multiple target DPS, but beyond that, Frozen Pulse is great if you can maintain having 0 runes, then it works. Horn of Winter is the talent that I choose. I just like having the 2 runes and the 10 runic power when I want it. I use Ice Cap for 58 because I want to have my Pillars of Frost up more often so I can have sustained DPS over bursty DPS. Hungering Rune Weapon is just not as strong as the other 2. Avalanche is fun. It does do really good DPS, but personally, I just like having my Pillars of Frost up more often. So for 60, Abomination's Might, it does stun a lot of people on your Obliterate critical strikes, but that does not affect Frost Scythe. It's single target. Blinding Sleet is what I use for, it makes the most sense. Mainly because you can disorient or interrupt a whole group of people instead of just one target. Winter is Coming does do that, but you have to have Pillar of Frost and Remorseless Winter, so if you think about it, it's just about the same cooldown. Plus it costs a rune in order to do. 75, Volatile Shielding, it's a cool ability, it's really neat, but the fact that you don't generate the runic power from it instead. It does decrease your DPS. Permafrost is the one that I go to, mainly because it's just nice to have that shield with you. It's just a passive thing. You have the shield, you survive more. That's that. White Walker is a nice talent because it gives you the 20% reduced damage and does slow enemies once you walk out of it. It is a viable substitute to Permafrost and may even be better, but I choose Permafrost over White Walker. Now, level 90, I used Frost Scythe. This is one of my favorite abilities. One, I think Frost is lacking in the amount of abilities they have, so that's why I like it so much. Two, it costs only 1 rune. It benefits from Killing Machine, and its crit does 4 times the amount of damage than Obliterate. So pretty much you will use your Killing Machines for Frost Scythe instead of Obliterate. So why would you use Obliterate then? Because you can proc Rhyme. Frost Scythe does not proc Rhyme. So you still use Obliterate, but not with Killing Machine. Runic Continuation, it's relatively strong for single target DPS. Gathering Storm, honestly the damage does not compare to either of the 2 talents. Level 100, Obliteration it's really good if you need burst. Breath of Sindragosa is a very fun talent. And then Glacial Advance does a lot of damage, 13-second cooldown, and it's only 1 rune. So there's that, and it adds another ability, because, you know, why not? So for this tier, I would just pick Glacial Advance, because it provides the largest amount of sustained DPS compared to the other 2. So you're going to want to keep Frost Fever up by casting Howling Blast at the beginning and then using your Rhyme procs that you get from casting Obliterate the rest of the fight. You don't use Howling Blast anymore in the entire fight, as long as you get Rhyme procs and keep Frost Fever going. When you have excess runes, 2 or more, you use Obliterate, as long as you're not going to cap on your runic power. If you have 85 or more runic power, then you start casting Frost Strike. If you get Killing Machine, you use Frost Scythe. Keep using Glacial Advance on cooldown. Remorseless Winter when possible. Horn of Winter if you take that if you're running out of runes. It's rather simple. And I'll go ahead put up a text box right now of what exactly I just said so that you can read it and then see it. And I'll have the gameplay of me doing the rotation in the background here. And lastly, I just want to talk about the artifact weapon real quick. It's a passive ability known as Crystalline Swords. It does some damage. There's also an ability known as Sindragosa's Fury that you can get to. I personally have not gotten it because I did not spec my artifact weapon outright. I will include a link in the description for Icy Veins' chart of how to do it because it's really good. But yeah, it's kind of lackluster. Alright everyone, so in conclusion, Frost is a fun spec to play, but don't expect to get a lot of damage out of it. It is the lowest dealing DPS class out there at the moment, and it's not in a very good spot right now. Artifact weapons lame, they look cool, but the abilities kind of suck. Everything about the Frost Death Knight thematically is cool, but damage and tuning is just not very good. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the guide, and I'll see you next week for the Blood Death Knight.